The soldiers, their officer, and the Jewish police arrested Jesus and bound him. First, they took him to Annas, who was the father-in-law of Caiaphas, the high priest that year. Caiaphas was the one who had advised the Jews that it was better to have one person die for the people. Simon Peter and another disciple followed Jesus, and since that disciple was known to the high priest, he went with Jesus into the courtyard of the high priest. But Peter was standing outside of the gate until the other disciple spoke to the woman who guarded the gate and brought Peter in. The woman said to Peter,
"You are not also one of this man's disciples, are you?"
I am not.
Now the slaves and the police had made a charcoal fire because it was cold, and they were standing around it and warming themselves. Peter was also standing with them and warming himself. Then the high priest questioned Jesus about his disciples and about his teaching.
"I have spoken openly to the world. I have always taught in synagogues and in the temple, where all the Jews come together. I have said nothing in secret. Why do you ask me? Ask those who heard what I said to them. They know what I said."
When he had said this, one of the police standing nearby struck Jesus on the face, saying, "Is that how you answer the high priest?"
"If I have spoken wrongly, testify to the wrong. But if I have spoken rightly, why do you strike me?"
Then Annas sent him bound to Caiaphas the high priest. Now Simon Peter was standing and warming himself, and they asked him,
"You are not also one of his disciples, are you?"
I am not.
One of the slaves of the high priest, a relative of the man whose ear Peter had cut off, asked,
"Did I not see you in the garden with him?"
No, not me.
At that moment, the cock crowed. Pastor John, I've got a question. Peter, who spent all this time with Jesus and seemed to grasp who he was, if he couldn't avoid denying he was a follower of Jesus, how do I stand a chance?
Great question. I mean, can you just imagine how Peter must have felt when that rooster crowed? I'm sure we all tend to get a bit self-conscious about what we say or what we do, and maybe even what we don't say, especially in times where something should be said. And these are a reflection of who we are. It makes me think about a time where I got busted by using some naughty words, and my neighbors had taught me these naughty words, and their mom was the one who got mad. She goes, "Are you a Christian?" I think about how often being a Christian can be tough, right? We're always maybe thinking about how our actions are being perceived by others, especially if we feel like everything that we do, every little thing that we do is being evaluated. So fortunately, Jesus, out of his love for Peter, and certainly out of his love for us, dies on the cross. For those things that we do that we wonder, well, how could anyone forgive me? Jesus forgives us. But especially as you look at yourself, like when you look deep into your heart and you think to yourself, man, I can't even forgive myself. That's where Jesus says, I forgive you. And Jesus is going to meet Peter again. After the resurrection, the two of them come together and Peter's called to tend my sheep. Jesus says, I've got a job for you. I need you to be the shepherd. I need you to help with this flock, help others as they're learning about me and learning my story. And so even after that denial, Peter is still called. So as you reflect on this story this week, think about how God takes someone like you, someone who's imperfectly perfect, and says, look, I need to use you to help show love to this world. Think about how you can do that. See you Sunday.